All right, guys, welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly podcast show for the OMFL. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we got a couple guests with us today. As always, we have our good buddy Dwayne and a special out of the blue because he happened to be on the call for the podcast the other night, and he was on his phone and he hopped on. We got both the guys in the championship, Cincy Berg and Dwayne. Guys, how you doing?
Doing
Oh,
good.
pretty good, Nate.
Well, good. We are. I am in deep South Louisiana, New Orleans, and I have snow. So that tells you just how crazy of a week it has been. And as you can hear, I'm still coughing up a lung. It's been a month. I'm ready to shoot my face off. But let's just dive right into this and get it going here. Let's talk about the playoffs and get us to where we are right now, which is the OMFL Bowl, which will take place tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. We will try to do a live chat that I will record. So we'll get Skype going, and whoever's hosting the game will all hop on and watch the game. I can't live stream. Last time I tried to live stream the game, it just, excuse me, came out super, super choppy. And it's just hard to live stream when you're on a Mac laptop. It's just not enough power to be able to do that. So let's hop into it. We did get to the season 75 playoffs, which was the wild card round, which had the Cowboys facing off against the Seahawks, the Rams against the Vikings, the Chargers against the Titans, the Steelers versus the Chiefs. So some really good matchups. The Cowboys fall to the Seahawks 27-17. The Vikings squeeze by the Rams 21-20. The Chargers with a 29-25 victory over the Titans. And then finally, the Steelers beat the Chiefs by 2 points, 23-21. Some really tight, close games. Calling out those owners, submit that, man. We need to get all of these playoff games into our instant classic games just so guys can go back and watch some of these really great games. We had a couple close margins of victory here and just overall no blowouts, some really tight games, and that's what we want to see. What do you guys think about the playoffs, Dwayne? How did you see this playing out? Any big surprises here that just jump off of the paper at you?
Oh man, this first round, it was interesting. Like I said, they were all close games. I mean, they were all within touchdown, other than the Cowboys and Seahawks, which is a 10-point game. Really doesn't tell how close that game really was. Biggest surprise to me, honestly, was the Rams losing the Vikings. I know that's kind of an easy choice. We all know that Ducks was hit and miss all season. He was kind of in and out of it. At least in his mind, he's in and out of it. But when it comes playoff time, he's usually a whole nother team. And
I
Q,
got
who,
to
like I
ask
said,
real quick, why are you feeding a bear? That bear has
uh,
enough to eat on his own. We don't need to feed that bear, all right?
well, it's just we all know Ducks. Well, us three, of course, know Ducks probably better than a lot of people do. But he just usually when it comes playoff time, he takes it to a whole nother level. And Q, who like I said is no longer with us, he left to start his own league. But he gave Ducks a hell of a game, and like I said, he squeezed out a 1-point victory, and that's a huge upset when you beat a 2-time champion like that.
Yeah, the thing that jumps off the paper at me is that Teddy Bridgewater only was 7 for 15 for 148 yards, 3 interceptions, and then Cook had 108 yards on 10 carries. Like those are two big surprises to me. On the other side of the ball, Perrine had 2 touchdowns. Mahomes didn't throw a pick. I mean, you would expect that type. That's the type of game that Ducks will play in the playoffs, and you expect that to go his way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Duke Riley gets 2 interceptions. Jack gets an interception. Just you expect this type of game to go the Rams' way, and it didn't. I wish I could have been able to watch this game. As you say, unfortunately, Q did decide he was, from what I understand, part of a brand new league that they offered him to be their commissioner, and it just was an opportunity that he said he couldn't pass up. So unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But man, big victory for him at home. I would not have called this game to go this way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you get 3 turnovers like that, you expect, I mean, that's what Ducks does. You expect him to win that game and usually win it pretty handedly, and it just didn't fall his way. And so clearly, this was just one of those tight, hard fought games where the Rams weren't able to take those turnovers and break them into points, right? He had a low, well, not a low third down percentage, 45 compared to 40. I mean, just all the stats go the Rams' way. You just wonder exactly what happened. I'm going to have to go back and try to watch this game because it looked pretty close to me. Cincyberg, any games that, I mean, you're on with this. You might as well talk. Any games that kind of surprise you?
Yeah, I really liked that Chargers game since he was on fire late in the season there. He won like his last 4 or something to rattle off the wild card spot. He won that tight one. He won by about 4 points. I think it was 29-25.
Yeah.
And the key part was, he forced 4 interceptions for Mariota. So, he had a big defensive game there. And then another big game I thought was that AFC battle, the Chiefs and Steelers. They were both wanting a piece of me. So I think they were both looking for the next week ahead. That was a good game, a 1-point game, only 1 turnover in that game. I mean, either one of them could have won, but I think the better team won in that one.
Yeah, that Charger-Texan game was super surprising to me. Both of those guys kind of had to work their way into the playoffs there. The Titans are one of those teams that I'm always kind of waiting to get over the hump. We know what Dawson can do. Of course, he was in L.A. for so long with the Rams. Now he moves over to the Chargers. He fought tooth and nail to get in. He not only caused 5 turnovers, but he also held the Titans to 25% third down percentage. So just really great defense from the Chargers. And then the other one that you mentioned, that Chiefs-Steelers game, 21-23. The Chiefs had such an amazing season this year. They really put it all together. Lowest FPR average in the league, so I got to kind of call B-Hog on that. We got to make that better, but you can't take away the great season that he had. He gets in a tight game, and Tavon makes him pay for it. And it's just surprising how that happened. I mean, Watson passes for 225. Roethlisberger only goes for 137. But then the Chiefs give up 113 yards on the ground to Connor. Not even to the big guy. 13 carries, 113 yards. They really don't get any rushing game at all from the Chiefs. And this was just a back-and-forth, old-fashioned AFC rivalry battle as two teams kind of battled it out. So that moves us over to the divisional round. Chargers, Patriots, Seahawks, Falcons, Steelers, Ravens, Vikings, Eagles. I'll let you guys talk about your own games, but before we get there, I'm going to talk about the ones I want to talk about. Chargers fall to the Patriots 42-27. Patriots continue to flex those offensive muscles as he had all year long. Falcons not surprising. I mean, nothing Dwayne does surprises me, but I just didn't see a blowout coming. 30-13 over the Seahawks. Excuse me. Ravens 31, Steelers 17, the Vikings 26, the Eagles 20. So the Vikings continue that streak, and that's the game that really stuck out to me. Of course, look, the Ravens is surprising just because the Ravens owner is so quiet. We really don't hear a ton from him. He took over this team like halfway through the season or whatever it was, and man, he really had that team rolling. You look at the Vikings and Eagles game, though, the Eagles and Ziploc have been a powerhouse all season long. They really just been one of those teams that get after the quarterback, play amazing defense, but yet in this game, he only allows 16 yards rushing. I mean, that's number one. That's pretty amazing. But he only gets 1 sack, so he doesn't get that ton of sacks that he's used to getting. He only allows 30% on third down percentage, and he gets 3 takeaways for the Vikings. So the Vikings get 3 takeaways of the Eagles, and that really became their downfall. Nick Foles with 2 interceptions. Gordon had a hell of a day, 15 rushes, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. Evidently, there's a fumble in there somewhere. I don't know if it was Gordon. Bridgewater goes 13 of 20, 238 with a touchdown. Absolutely no rushing attack at all after Cook went off in round 1. So this game was truly back and forth. Tons of sacks. Barr had 2, Hunter had 2, Floyd had a sack. So lots of sacks from the Vikings, and really and truly on the other side, they held Cox and team and company in check. Only 1 sack from Cox. In some way, somehow the Vikings keep that streak alive. 26-20 in a big victory over the Eagles. and then he briefly bowed out right after that. So that kind of sucks because you have a team there that has been pushing and pushing all season. It just sucks to lose an owner, but I know that we lost our good buddy Bill over to the Vikings, and he'll do the job correctly over in Minnesota, and that'll be a really good division. So you guys talk about your games and kind of what happened, and give us the breakdown. Let's go ahead and start with you, Cincyberg. A big blowout victory over the Chargers, 42-27. The Chargers were the hot team going in, but clearly ran into an undefeated team who's still undefeated as they go into the bowl game. What took place here? Did we lose him?
You there, Cincy?
Oh, we
Yep,
might.
sorry, I'm here.
Oh, there he
I'm
is.
here. No, I'm here. So what happened in this game? Really, he really couldn't get any pressure. He had 0 sacks. I mean, Brady had all day to throw, and when you give a guy like that all day, I mean, there's gonna be some open receivers. I got after him. I think I had about 3 or 4 sacks. Really low turnovers. I mean, I only forced 1. He only forced 1. The key was just the 3 and outs and stopping in field position. I'd stop him deep in his own field, and he'd have to punt it, and I'd get it in great field position. That was really the main thing. He actually made a nice run in the second half. Scored 2 in the fourth to make it a closer game. And then I actually took out Brady for a couple drives because I was up a little bit and I didn't want him to get injured. And I pulled in Jimmy G, and he ended up scoring one late for me to make it look a little worse than it was. But other than that, I mean, I actually thought it was going to be more of a grinder game, low scoring, because I actually like the Chargers defense, but he just didn't get after me like I thought he would.
Yeah, I mean, you held the rushing game intact. There's really no rushing a game at all from them. Blanca didn't play bad, 17 for 31, 246 with 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was the Patriots quarterbacks just on fire. Garoppolo 1 for 2, 75 yards with a touchdown. Brady 9 of 14, 238, 3 touchdowns. You look at these receivers. Cooks has 5 for 181, 2 touchdowns. On the other side of the ball, Williams 7 for 127 with a touchdown. You were 20% on third down, but that just tells me that you just didn't have a lot of third down opportunities, and the Chargers just ran into a buzzsaw of an offense that continues to roll as you guys roll into the AFC Championship game. Dwayne, you faced off against the Seahawks, another red-hot team that really was doing everything right here towards the end of the season. Both the Seahawks and the Patriots are up for a lot of the end of the season awards. So lots of momentum was being taken into this game, but you come away with a handedly 30-13 victory over the Seahawks. Break down your game and tell us what happened.
Well, it was just a game of I had a game plan going into it, and Mo had a game plan. Like I said, Mo, as you were in his division last year, man, he's a formidable opponent every time you play him. A lot of times you say, he's kind of an air raid offense. He's really worked on trying to get his running game into it. And I came into the game trying to stop his running game and make him pass the ball. And that's pretty much what ended up happening. My guys, of course, we ran the ball well. Coleman had almost 160 yards on 10 carries. He just had 2 long runs. Mo did a real good job at stopping my run, except for a couple really long runs. And I know that was part of his game plan. The biggest deal with ours is just get Mo in, at least on my side of it, get Mo in long distance situations. His third down percentage was only 13%. You just want to get him in long downs and make him make plays. And Mo can do it. In this game, he just didn't do it. It just wasn't there. And it's just hard. There's no worse. And I know Cincy can speak for that. When you get a 60, 70, 80-yard play on one play, it just takes the air out of the defense. And when you get a couple of those, like 2 of Coleman's runs were both just beast long runs, man, it just takes away from the defense, and the offense has to come back on field and answer. And, Mo just didn't have it today. Mo's had some really good games, and I got him in behind early, and he had to abandon the running game, and it just wasn't Mo's day today.
Yeah, I'm not letting some big cat out of the bag here, but that's the tough part about playing the Falcons, and the frustrating part really is because 10 for 157, 13 for 55, and these guys are just, they get their first down every time they touch the ball. There's gaping holes. There's nothing you feel like you can do about it. If you stack the box, he spreads the ball around to 8 different receivers, goes 13 of 18 for 154. He did throw the 2 picks, but that's not normal for the Atlanta Falcons. He also eats the clock. Dwayne eats a ton of clock, which means you can't run the ball because there's not a lot of time. You're losing. You have to pass the ball. You just get out of your game plan. Things snowball pretty quickly on you. Both of these teams are super hot going into the playoffs. Beasley had a great game, 3 tackles, 2 of them being sacks. McKinley had a sack. Neal had an interception. Even Sherman picking off his old team with an interception. Both teams traded interceptions, but it really was that lack of running game from the Seattle Seahawks. The Falcons just fly to the ball. They make plays on defense, and that rushing game is one of the best that I've ever seen. Makes it really tough to beat the Atlanta Falcons. So that brings us to our conference championship. The Ravens versus the Patriots. The Vikings versus the Falcons. 14-2 versus 10-6. 16-0 versus 11-5. Patriots come away with a 30-7 victory. The Falcons with a 34-16 victory. Dwayne, let's go to you first. Talk about your game against Q and the Vikings. I mean, God, you made the guy quit and go commission his own league. It was so bad.
This was a game, like I said, we came out of the block, and I think I got the ball first, drove down, scored a touchdown, and his first possessions, he went 3 and out. And, as anybody knows, and anybody that plays Madden, when you get 3 and outs, it's a killer. And it's a killer. And I just kept answering and kept answering. And 4-0, it was 17-0, if I'm not mistaken, right off the bat. And that just takes a guy out of his, kind of like I said with Mo, it just takes him out of his game plan. You want to come in the game, you want to run, and you want to pass off the run. And Q plays a lot like that. And, when you put him in a spot like that where he has to start passing the ball, like I said, against Bridgewater, against the Rams two games ago, he only had, 7 completions. Q likes to run the ball, and he's got Cook, he's got Allen, he's got 2 good running backs. And you just put him in a spot, I think 47 of Allen's 55 came on 1 run. It was a real solid run. You just took him out of his comfort zone and made him try to pass the ball with Bridgewater. And like I said, he converted. I put him in long distance downs, 33% on 3rd down. We both had, I think I actually had 2 turnovers, and he only had 1, which one of mine was a kicker, a punt return that I got fancy on, and he got a fumble on that one. But if I'm not mistaken, that drive, he missed a field goal, which is another thing that just takes the air out of you. You get easy points, and you miss a field goal. Like I said, there could have been factors in that. Wind, I couldn't remember. Maybe his connection just wasn't real great, but he missed a pretty easy field goal. And when you miss points like that, when you leave points on the board, and it just hurts. And he did a real good job for the most part of containing my running backs. And as you can see, Coleman, 54 of his 68 yards were on one run, and 36 of Freeman's 84 were on 1 run. It just, man, when you give up big plays like that, it's just hard to come back. And like I said, Matt Ryan had a good game. He didn't throw no touchdowns, but he was 13 of 14 for 170 yards. It was just one of them games where he got behind the sticks early, 17-0 to start the game, took him out of his game plan. And, when you get behind the chains and behind the scoreboard, and like I said, I like to run the ball, I like to control the game tempo. It's just really hard to come back. And he gave it a real good effort. And like I said, hopefully Bill will take the Vikings and take them to another level again next season.
Yeah, typical Falcons game, 13 of 14 for 170. Matt Ryan's just throwing dimes, picking up first downs. His running backs, convert 20 carries or, 19 carries for whatever that is, 150-ish yards. It's just a typical Falcons game. Spreads the ball around, plays really great defense, forces you into some bad plays, and before you know it, there's no time left, and you have to completely abandon your run and try to force some plays down the field, and that leads to a 34-16 victory for the Atlanta Falcons, and they find their way into another OMFL Bowl here. Then that brings us to the Patriots whipping up on the Ravens 38-7 at home. Cincy Berg, talk about this victory. What happened in this game?
Actually, in the first quarter, it was 0-0 at the end of the first, so it was a bit surprise to me. I couldn't get my offense going, which is always a worrisome because I really haven't had trouble with it. But when he stopped me the first couple of drives, went in a small panic mode and tried to change up my game plan. But he, with his offense, the first drive of the game, he goes down the field on me, pretty much willingly, dinking and dunking passes, goes down to the about 5-yard line and throws an interception in the end zone. So that was a big relief for me. And I obviously couldn't score off of it because it was 0-0 after the first. And so I change it up. I go run first in the second quarter. And Thomas Rawls busts off like an 80-yard run for a touchdown. And that pretty much depleted his next drive because he went 3 and out. And I pretty much just tried to take control with the running. A couple big, like Dwayne was saying, the big plays killed him. Gronk had like a 50-yard reception, and Cooks had an 80 or a 70-yard touchdown. Just the stuff that just depletes your opponent. I was a little worried about my defense, even though they only allowed 7. I couldn't really get to him. He had all day, but Phantom really wasn't using his team how he should have, in my opinion. I mean, his leading receiver was his running back, so he was really just checking down a lot. So I really minimized what I had to do on defense. His leading receiver was, Murray for 6 receptions. So as far as defense, I didn't have to worry about covering anything downfield. It was all in my face, stop the run, stop the running backs. Forced him with 5 turnovers. He had 5 interceptions, so that was probably a reason why he didn't want to throw it downfield. Or he had four interceptions, sorry. And he really just couldn't stop the offense after I changed the run first because he was looking for pass-heavy offense, which I can do, but if you allow me to run the ball, I will run the ball. And it was actually a better game than the 38-7 showed. He just turnovers, make a game look uneven. And I'll be looking forward to playing him a couple times next year as I switch to the Bengals. I'll be in his division.
Yeah, this looked like another really great game, typical back and forth battle. But what has haunted the Ravens, even when Q was over at the Ravens, has been the quarterback interceptions. He throws 4 this game, 5 total turnovers. Even though he had 18 yards for 92 or 18 carries for 92 yards with the running backs, that's a pretty good game. You just can't turn the ball over that much. He's 14 of 24 for 210. 4 interceptions with the 1 touchdown. On the other side of the ball, Brady goes 8 for 12, 144, 3 touchdowns. Your running back even got him a big pass in there, 1 for 1 for 50. Rawls had a great game, 12 for 130, that long of 82 that you were talking about. So truly, the big plays reigned in this game. 2 interceptions from McCourty, 1 from Rowe, 1 from Hightower. One of those was that big one in the end zone. So those types of games can really snowball on you as you roll into a championship game, and things can get away from you pretty quickly. So a big victory for the Patriots there, 38-7, and he is yet to taste the taste of defeat yet this season. And sorry, I'm a little distracted. There's the word I'm looking for. It's like snowing really hard outside, and we're not. It's New Orleans. It's not supposed to snow here, but I'm kind of enjoying it, and I was checking it out. But that sets us up for the Super Bowl, the OMFO Bowl, Patriots versus Falcons, 16-0 versus 14-2. This is going to be a really big matchup between 2 teams that have been there before. Of course, Dwayne has several championships underneath his belt. Of course, last year, Cincyberg is our repeating champion or defending champion, I should say. And so these 2 teams are really going to battle it out here in the MFL Bowl. And I'll let you guys talk some smack here in just a second. Daddy Leagues is calling for a 26-22 victory for the Patriots. So a 4-point victory there. That line's pretty good. I'd put my money on that. Average score has been 26 for the Falcons, 38 for the Patriots. Patriots only giving up 17. Falcons are only giving up 14. Both teams are about the same in passing yards allowed, 163 for the Falcons, 165 for the Patriots. Rushing yards, the Falcons are a little bit better, 72.1, 86.8, so they're pretty close on that. Sacks, you guys are pretty close with each other, 4 for the Patriots, 3.8 for the Falcons. So both of these teams really go back and forth. You see a little bit more of a balanced attack from the Falcons. They average 160 in the air, 164 on the ground. On the Patriots, more of an explosive offense, 216 in the air, 142 on the ground. Defensive red zone percentage is really, really good for the Patriots, 48.9, 65.1 for the Falcons. Offensive red zone, both of you are about the same, 86.6 for the Patriots, 90.6 for the Falcons. Third down percentage, you guys are about the same, 54.8 for the Falcons, 52.7 for the Patriots. And then you guys are, Patriots are averaging more takeaways. They're averaging 3 per game, as the Falcons are only averaging 1. So truly, I feel like we're getting 2 of the best teams in our league that are going to be facing off this Super Bowl. That's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. Again, we'll get a live chat up, or voice chat. This thing will be up on Skype, or you know what, we might break out the old Steady Eddie Uber conference that we know we can always count on and get that up if Skype isn't working. But this should be a classic game between 2 powerhouses. I'm going to save my comments at the end for who I'm picking to win this game. But what are you guys feeling about each other? We'll just call this a little Super Bowl pregame press conference here between you two. What are you guys feeling about each other? What are you taking as you roll into this game? What are you looking for, and what do you think it's going to take for your teams to win?
You can go first.
You can go ahead.
If you want to
Oh my God! Are you guys going to hold hands during the bowl, or are you going to?
We might.
What's this going to be about?
We might do a little Oprah Winfrey. You know, you score a touchdown. You score a touchdown. You know? Well, on paper, it does look pretty close. I mean, I think it's going to be close. What I'm, worried about is going to be the rush attack on Dwayne. You know, he's got a great rushing game, both ways actually, defensively and offensively. The way he gets after the quarterback, you know, he's a great user, and that worries me because when you get to Brady, then I got trouble passing, and that changes my game plan up. With Dwayne on the offense, though, I'll talk some of my pregame, I guess, on this. You force him to pass. He's very comfortable running the ball. So let's see if we can't get him to toss the rock a little bit. See what he can do. But other than that, I mean, it looks pretty even. I'm glad I'm playing him. That's the guy I would want to face in the NFC. He's the best of the best, in my opinion. I mean, I know he was talking about Ducks earlier, but Ducks isn't here, is he?
Ooh, shots fired at a guy that's not even here. D-Wayne, what are you looking forward to in this game? What do you have to watch out for? What's it going to take for the Falcons to walk away with another Super Bowl victory?
Well, this is an odd stat. I just want you to know Ryan and Brady are both 199 completions to 262 attempts. That's just really freaky stat. They're exact same. But you can take that and run with it, because if you look at Brady, he averages almost 15 yards an attempt, and Ryan averages 10 yards attempt, which, it's 2 different offenses. And I've said it all year. Me and Dawson have our daily bull sessions where we talk about teams throughout the league and how this. And I tried to give him a rundown on Cincy, and you really can't give him a rundown when you have to play Cincy. If you look at Cincy's team, man, it's just all across the board offensively. He's the first or second in the league, first points, first yards. He's second passing, second rushing. But defensively, we see a lot of these teams are just explosive offenses. But defensively, he's top 10 in every category. And there's not a lot of weaknesses. You got Brady 2 years in a row has had a QB rating of 140 or higher. He only gave up 33 sacks all season for Brady. It's pretty good with the passing attack he has. He protected him, pretty well. Dion Lewis is coming off, record-setting season, 27 touchdowns, almost 1,350 yards rushing. But the part that scares me about Cincy, and this is another odd fact, is I've never beat Cincy, I don't think, since I've been here. I think I've played you 3 times. Last Madden and this Madden, I've never beat him. It's always been close, but I just can't get over the hump. Which, I tell anybody this, his team is, polar opposite of my team. And I don't think he plans his team like I do mine. And that aspect is my team is not built on speed. And I'm not saying your team's built solely on speed. My team is just defensively, I look for hard hitters. I want to stop the run. and make somebody pass the ball. And in retrospect, his team, he has Cooks, he has Dorsett. Dion Lewis is a quick back. He's got a lot of speed, and it creates a lot of matchup problems. Last season we played each other. I don't know if you remember, Cincy, the last play of the fourth quarter, he did almost a screen pass to receiver and went 80 yards, and I stopped him at the 1. And then in overtime, I think Dion Lewis took a simple run and just made my guys look like they were standing still. And that's what scares me, is because you can't. I mean, any play can turn into 80-yard play when you play Cincy. You can't relax. As a defensive guy, usually I have them away, and I like to set up and make guys do what I want them to do. And you can't do that with the Patriots. You just try to alter what he wants to do, just a little bit. But I mean, I don't want to give too much of my game plan away, but I just got to get pressure on Brady and hope that his running game doesn't take off, because if his running game takes off, that opens up for Brady. I can't pin my ears back and go like I want to. It's going to be a good one. The team, I take a lot of pride in defense. He's the best offense 2 years in a row. And it's just going to be, it's a battle of, former champions, or, he's the current champion. But it's going to go back and forth. I think I'm going to try to slow the game down. I'm going to try not to let him get 38 points on me or 45 points. That might not be, I might not have a choice in that. Like I said, he's going to try to make me pass with Matt Ryan. It might come to that. Matt Ryan, or at least my Matt Ryan, is a cheap man's Tom Brady. I don't pass near as much. I sure don't pass near as efficient. My completion percentage is right there with his, but when you average on 5 yards more pass, that's impressive. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think that everybody that tunes in tonight will get to see two teams they can look at and see a hell of a game.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask either one of you for predictions, because that's a complete waste of time. But D-Way never disappoints, man. He's the nicest guy that is in this league, and so yeah, this should be another classic game, and I can't wait to see how this is going to play out. My personal feelings on the game is that the Patriots rely on the big play. They are built on that big play, the efficiency from Brady with the ball in the air. The Falcons probably have not faced a better passing attack than this one. At the same time, I don't know that the Patriots have faced a better defense than this one. The Falcons have a great way of shutting down completely your run and forcing you into some plays on offense that you don't want to be forced into. And that's exactly what I see happening in this game. I really see that the Patriots are going to need the big play. The Falcons are really good at shutting down the big play. I preference all that in that the Falcons are beatable. They're 14-2. They have lost 2 games. The Patriots, I think, are beatable, but they haven't actually lost the game. They're 16-0, and so, sorry, it's 18-0 now as they run into the OMFL Bowl game. So, look, anything could happen. Turnovers, swing a game. That's why I'm picking the Falcons to win this one, though, because I think that they'll shut down the big run. They'll shut down the running game. They're going to force Brady to pass the ball. The Patriots have proven they will turn the ball over. That can happen. The Falcons, most of the time, have consistently not turned the ball over. They're getting 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 yards a carry. Have no clue how he does it. I think that's going to slow the game down. That's going to work against the Patriots. But, hey, that's why this game isn't played on paper. We're going to play it actually with controllers. This should be a really great classic game. I can't wait to see who's going to come out on top in this one. So 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. Look for a live chat. Either we're going to try Skype. We'll give it a shot. We'll see how it works. The problem is with Skype, you can't mute anybody, so you guys have to be big boys and mute yourself. Or we'll put up the Uber conference if we have to. I'm just trying to avoid paying for that thing and saving as much money as we can if that's possible. So that brings you through the playoffs here. Check out the really cool graphic that you guys would not believe. There's hours upon hours of work into that graphic. Check out the graphic. It's updated with the bowl game there. And we are preparing for the offseason to start immediately after. And that kind of brings me to the last few things I want to talk about. GrownFolksOC.com. Make sure that you go and check out the website. Lots of really cool stuff is up there. You want to make sure that you check that out. And really quickly, though, the things that I want to get to, lots of cool stuff from the Wrestling League. So even if you're not in the Wrestling League, watch our shows. We like to have fans Leave us your feedback. Tell us if it's entertaining or not entertaining. Go watch our show, man. There's lots of work. You think the graphic took a long time. I have countless hours into these shows that I make. So go watch our show for us. Give you something that you can watch and leave us your feedback. But the off season is starting. The codes are updated. The threads are as updated as we can. We are getting re-signs done as soon as we advance 24 hours of that. But if you can get them done sooner, get that done for us so that we can go ahead and advance this thing and give us the most time. It's looking like it'll be a midweek to late week draft. That vote is up. So go vote for 2 times that you like the best. By the end of the weekend, I'll pick the top 2. We'll put it up for a 1 vote only. You pick one of the 2 times that fits the best, and then we'll roll with that. Lots of people have been changing, but make sure you check out the off-season thread. You know what's coming. You're updating the threads that need to be updated. Be patient with us. Turn in your incentive stuff to me. We are short 2 board members, which means a lot of us are carrying a lot of stuff, and man, it's really hard. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm drowning right now in stuff to get done with all of the leagues that I run here. So be patient with us. Get us your stuff. Know that we are working as hard as we can to get stuff knocked out. The off season is super, super tough on us. And to be short 2 guys, it's going to be even tougher than normal. So make sure that you know what's going on, that you update us. Turn in your incentive stuff to me. I think I only have about 3 or 4 that are updated and sent to me. I'll get that announced here really soon. The awards will close tonight or tomorrow. We'll probably give it another day to let everybody vote for the awards. So make sure you go vote for the awards. We'll do an award show. We'll get that all posted. So lots of really great things that are coming up. And then we get to the very last thing that I want to talk about because it's important. So I did a special podcast the other night. It ended up being another stupid, technical, difficult thing that I had to redo several times over. But I did 2 quick podcasts talking about where we are as a league. Unfortunately, the guys that we've lost, the new guys that are here that we're excited about, and just how we have to move forward. And a big portion of that is talking about the sliders and the flaws in the game. And so I threw out some suggestions. And I need your feedback. Right now, only 2 people have given feedback. I need to go back and read those. I just haven't had a chance to get there. Listen to these 2 podcasts. They're about 15 to 20 minutes combined. And then leave me your feedback and let me know your thoughts because it's important and I need to hear what you think so that we can make the best decisions that we possibly can. So that's it for our show. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to give me any closing thoughts that you might have. I know you're both getting ready for this big game tonight. Lots of stuff that's going on. So closing thoughts as we wrap things up.
Bring your popcorn. It should be a fun one to watch. Like I said, this would be it. You get your champion tonight, and we'll be kicking off another crazy, impactful off season.
Oh yeah, everybody can't wait for the off season to start. They love for a quick playoffs. As everyone knows, this is going to be Brady's last game. He's retiring after this game. So hopefully it goes out with a bang.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Lots of movement. So Cincy Bears going to be taking over Cincinnati, and hell, I can't even remember all the rest. But lots of people taking over lots of new teams. It should be super interesting. It'll be a fun season 76 off season. We've kind of given a little bit of a space there, but you know what? I'm ready to play again. These playoffs have taken long enough, and the off season is going to take long enough. I'm ready to get back at it, even as frustrating as this game could be. So leave me your thoughts. Watch the wrestling show that we have up. Make sure you vote for the threads. Vote for all the award winners in the draft night. Let's have a really, really good time. Don't forget the next podcast that we have will be on draft night. I'll do a pre-draft show, and then we'll have it open for a draft night. Again, we'll try to use Skype, but you guys will have to mute yourself because there's nothing more distracting where people will turn off the podcast if we have 75 guys with their mic open and hearing family, kids, and everything else that's going on in the background on top of people trying to talk. So we'll try Skype out tonight. Just remember to mute yourself unless we open it up for calls, and then you can unmute yourself and we'll bring you on. So lots of good stuff. Thank you both for being on with me today and knocking out a quick press pass live. I'm excited about your game tonight. Good luck to both of you. Hopefully, no injuries so we can get a true champion and not somebody that is handicapped like my Saints were last night. Yes, I'm still salty as hell about that real life game, but I'm excited about the OMFL Bowl tonight. I'm ready to get into the offseason. Be patient. Turn in your incentive award stuff. I need to get that stuff approved. Just be patient with me and let me get stuff. If you need to, remind me about stuff because, again, we've got a billion things going on and some things are getting lost in translation. So if you haven't heard from me about something, just remind me. And then finally, and lastly, I should say, trade me all your first-round picks. I need first-round picks. Send them to the Saints. You can hit me up on Discord. I'm ready to trade. So you guys have a great one. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thanks for being on the show with me. We'll see you guys at the draft night. Deuces.